is Dr. Hannah Blau. I'm Director of the Cystic Fibrosis Center, the Schneider Children's Medical Center of Israel. CF, as it is known, is the most common genetic life-threatening disease in white populations, and similarly also here in Israel. Children and patients who suffer from cystic fibrosis have a disease which affects many organs in their body. The life-threatening part is mainly due to the lung disease, where thick secretions have to be cleared every day, and severe infection is almost a permanent situation.
Cystic fibrosis is a cruel disease. It prevents a function basic to all living things, breathing. CF is incurable. The daily treatment targets a specific goal: to activate and support the body's systems with the help of drugs, treatments, and external accessories. A patient's first activity in the morning is not to brush his teeth, but to receive inhalation and physiotherapy to remove fluid buildup in his body. During the course of the day, he needs to take dozens of pills, and each basic activity, such as eating, playing, or leaving his home, revolves around a strict schedule of taking his medicines. At night, when his friends are going to sleep with their teddy bears, he sleeps with an oxygen tank or an inhalator next to his bed. 3 of my children were born with this disease, and they all died from it. I cannot forget that evening. After a difficult labor, my son was born. At the Brit, we gave him the name Yosef Chaim, in the hope that Hashem would add life to this poor child. And then the sad song played again. I gave birth to another daughter who had CF. We called her Hedva, in the hope that we would be happy. And we almost gave up. Treating 2 children with CF almost broke us. The time came, and we drove to the hospital again so that I could give birth. This time we hoped, after all the pain that we were dealt, that we would be holding a healthy child who would bring an atmosphere of joy into our home. But our hopes were cruelly dashed. Once again, the doctor came into the room and informed us that our newborn daughter had CF. We lost ourselves in the agony. One by one, they passed away. Yosef Chaim, Hedva, and Brachi, may they rest in peace, died and left me and my husband emotionally bereft, crushed, and brokenhearted. Another funeral, another Shiva, another unveiling ceremony, and we were sad. But believing that everything is for the best, we gathered the last of our energy and decided we would not allow others to suffer as we had. We decided to dedicate our lives to Chaim Liled, to help families who have members with CF. The expenses of the organization are huge. We need your donation so that we can continue helping these patients and their families. It's in your hands. Chaim Liled, a non-profit organization, was established 10 years ago by Rabbi Reuven Sklar to help patients with cystic fibrosis breathe. Its first goal was to increase the government-sponsored treatments for the patients. Over the last 10 years, the organization has worked to increase the availability of physiotherapists and to provide medicines that are not covered by the government-regulated HMOs, medicines that cost thousands of dollars and are hard to obtain in Israel. Chaim Liled established a professional staff that provides emotional assistance to the families, assists in the purchase of medical equipment, and flies patients to foreign countries for treatment. However, Rabbi Sklar is not satisfied with just the accepted therapies and seeks alternative methods that may ease the suffering of the patients. He has taken upon himself the unprecedented task of organizing a convalescence camp for the patients and their families in the Swiss Alps. Every year, this requires a massive and complex logistical effort that includes organizing special flights accompanied by medical equipment and a unique staff that allows Chaim Liled to provide more than 120 people, patients, and their families the chance to absorb the clear mountain air in the snowy summit of the Swiss Alps. During the weeks at the camp, there is a dramatic improvement in the patients, and the patients' parents gather their strength. This has given Rabbi Sklar the determination to establish a permanent sanitarium in Switzerland that will operate year-round and be open and available to anyone with lung disease from anywhere in the world.
Cystic fibrosis is a chronic debilitating disorder which affects mainly the respiratory system but also the digestive system. Usually it starts in a very young age, and most patients don't survive above the age of 40. As a physician, I was called by this organization last year to help them to arrange this camp this year in Europe. I've checked all the medical files of those patients who are coming from many hospitals in Israel. They were in the age range of 5 to 39, and we've looked at all the files. Following the camp, we looked again at the patients, and we were happy to see that they indeed gained weight. Most of the patients were able to perform many activities throughout the day that they were not able to do in the beginning of the camp when they reached the end of the camp. So I can only tell you that Chaim Liled was able to help those patients very much great deal, which will not be impossible in other way in Israel today because of all the effects of funding and other issues. So as a pulmonary specialist, I'm sure that Chaim Liled will be able to help those kids in the future, and any kind of support that will be able to help those kids and Chaim Liled is blessed in terms of a pulmonary specialist.
At the same time, the organization has bought an apartment building in the Dead Sea area, another locale at which the healthy, mineral-rich air helps the patients breathe easier. These apartments are intended to be used as a first aid station for patients whose condition has worsened. After 2 weeks at the Dead Sea, the patient's systems have regained their balance and the patient returns to full strength. Patients who cannot withstand high-altitude flights and those whose families cannot leave Israel for an extended period of time can also use these apartments to improve their health and regain their strength. Note that this is the only place in Israel that provides a remedy to those with CF or psoriasis without any payment required and is a true lifesaver for them. There are many patients who have requested and are awaiting the moment when they can come and unload some of the heavy burden that the disease places upon them, when they can allow themselves a few weeks of enjoying a simple life in which they can breathe easily and healthily. It's up to you. Every contribution, any way in which you can help, gives breath to more and more patients. More patients will be able to fly to the camp. More families will be less pressured. More homes will be filled with happiness to replace the sadness and agony. And most important, more patients will live longer in good health with peace and calm. All of the organization's activities spring from generosity and a great desire to help these sick children. Your contribution is oxygen to these children. Chaim Liled, providing breath with every breath we take.